All right, fans of music, welcome back. It is yours truly, Dave, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there. Just like me. Coming up, more great music after these messages. I didn't actually say that when I was on the radio. It was more like, hey, we got more music coming up, man. Just a few minutes, so hang out, you know. The classic rock station. Hey, man, it's the Grateful Dead this hour, and the Grateful Dead again next hour. No, hey, what am I talking about? I'm talking about blood, sweat, and tears in this particular video. Not the actual substances or elements here. I'm talking about the band that started back in '67, won a bunch of Grammys and so forth. Their first album was fantastic, but then people didn't go out and buy it in droves, so they shuffled the deck a little bit, brought in this Canadian guy, David Clayton Thomas. You may know who he is. And lo and behold, you had these songs that were mega hits. Riding around the station wagon, listening to Blood, Sweat, and Tears as a kid, you couldn't avoid it. I mean, they were on every 15, 20 minutes or so. And their songs, I mean, they have probably, their catalog, I would say, they have a dirty dozen, okay, or a clean dozen, depending on how you want to look at it. They've got some great, deeper album cuts and some things that you probably won't hear on the radio. They did an album with Bob James in the 70s, the jazz dude, and I thought it was a really interesting, decent album. Had at least 3 or 4 gems on it, but didn't get on the radio. By then, they had kind of worn out their welcome, and eventually, you know, they retired to the old folks circuit. But they're back. They're back, and they were up, I guess, in Orlando for like 5-6 dates recently. At the end of April, they're going out to California. Who's singing for them now? The incredible Bice. Now, he's been singing for the band, I think now for like 5 years. So he's been in this, and he seems to enjoy it. He's the guy who was on American Idol. I think he finished second place to Carrie Underwood. I didn't watch American Idol. People just tell me this stuff later on. Hey, did you know he finished second? No, see, there's a group of us who paid attention to these shows like American Idol and The Voice, whatever it's called, and America's Got Talent and all this stuff. And really, that isn't the way to pay your dues. Although Bice paid his dues because he kept working after that, kept trying to get his music on the radio, and he had some success on adult contemporary stations for a few years. But again, that music is kind of like in a junkyard right now. Nobody's going to go looking for it. No offense to Bo. In 10 years, you're not going to hear those songs on the radio. You'll continue to want to listen to Blood, Sweat, and Tears, though. Even though I would say you could easily say there's a war on their music, because what format is playing Spinning Wheel right now? Driving down the road, when is the last time you've heard And When I Die? Now, is there an oldie station near you, like a true oldie station that might be playing it? Sure. But those super oldie stations, the ones that play music from the 60s and 70s, those things are kind of gone. Now what they've done is kind of homogenized it, the 70s, 80s, and today, or the 70s and 80s, or just the 80s with a few abstract things thrown in, because they focus tested most of the late 60s and early 70s out, because they're a nuisance. Now, they should be on classic rock stations, but classic rock is too busy, you know, playing Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, which, fine, great stuff, but man, imagine putting in this horn blast, like Go Down Gamblin' or something like that from BS&T, would be cool. My point of this video, or the point, is that Blood, Sweat, and Tears sounds amazing with Bice singing. In fact, I'll go out on a limb and say that Bice has resurrected this band more so than this guy Neil Donnell in Chicago, who, look, stage presence, charisma, it's not even close. Bice, I mean, he's got the audience in the palm of his hand, whereas the other guy, I think, wants to hide behind the drum kit. It's just a bizarre juxtaposition. And look, Chicago has the better catalog. They have a deep catalog of all these hit songs, and you've got a wet noodle out there singing, and Bice, you know, he gets to sing maybe 7 or 8 songs that people really know, and then they go and do like Vehicle by Ides of March, and they do maybe a deep track, or I know he does a killer version of Midnight Rider. Greg Allman tune. He just kills it. Just, whoo, it's a holy crap Batman. So anyway, that's my video. Blood, Sweat, and Tears back, better than ever. This guy Columbi, who was in the group to begin with, he's the guy who owns all the rights. Yes, I know the haters will say, there's no original members. What are we going to do? You know what you do? You go buy tickets and you have a good time. That's what you do. And then, yeah, you can make fun of me. Well, this Dave guy said these guys were great, but they have no original members, so I can't listen to them. Hence the Little River Band argument and all these other things that I constantly get. It's just, look, folks, people get old, they retire, they unfortunately die. And there's a song that Blood, Sweat, and Tears does. They covered that topic. Okay, I'm done before I get in more trouble. See you soon.